Good evening, everyone. Can someone confirm that I can be heard? Hello, hello.
You're okay, Betha. You're okay, Betha.
All right, that's good. Good evening, everyone. My name is Bertha Nanyaro, and I will be moderating the session. And I understand we have about 3 speakers, and I think I can see 2 of them. I can see Jumanne, Tabea. Actually, we have 4 speakers. I've confirmed the presence of Jumanne, Tabea, Vicencia, and we are waiting for one from Kosota. Hi, Jumanne.
Hello, how are you?
I'm great. Nice to have you here.
Thank you, I'm humbled.
All right. Oh, so I'm gonna proceed to introduce myself while we wait for the rest of members to join. My name is Betha Nanyaro. I'm a lawyer, corporate commercial. I work with Victory Attorneys and Consultants. It's a law firm specializing in corporate commercial as well. At the firm, I head a department of investment and construction. And today I will be moderating the session, which is about building our common future with innovation and creativity, IP, in terms of intellectual property and the sustainable development goals. And we'll be having industry leaders in this space today to speak about the ecosystem. One of them is Jumanne, another is Vicencia and Tabea, and I will let them introduce themselves. And in this case, I will invite Jumanne to start introducing himself before we dive deep into the topic of today. Karibu Jumanne.
Yeah, so thank you so much. My name is Jumanne Mtambarike. I'm the CEO and co-founder of Sahara Ventures. I've been working in Tanzania's innovation ecosystem for the past 13, 14 years now. And I'm looking forward to have an engaging conversation with you all. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Jumanne. Karibu Vicencia.
Hi everyone. So my name is Vincencia and Vincencia Fuko. I work for Brela. This is a business registrations and licensing agency. I'm a legal officer and specializing in intellectual property. So I'm so excited to be here and to have this conversation today because it's an area that I hold so dear. And yeah, thank you.
Thank you very much for that. And we are excited to have you here, and we look forward to sharing and relearning from your experience. And we also have another member, which is Tabea. Tabea, karibu sana.
Asante. Hi everyone. My name is Tabea. Currently working with the UNDP Accelerator Lab as the experimentation lead. I am really looking forward to this discussion here. Thank you.
We are happy to have you, Tabea. Karibu sana. And finally, we will be having Ramadhani. Ramadhani, can you confirm that you are in the room? Can someone confirm if he knows what is a Twitter handle for Ramadhani? Because I don't see his name here.
Advocate Mtaita. Betha.
Yes.
So his handle is advocate, like ADV_Mtaita.
All right. Thank you very much. I will. Okay. Just give me 2 minutes. Someone from our
It's okay, Betha.
system can add.
Don't worry.
Okay.
Hi, Betha. Go ahead.
Okay.
We will actually look out for Advocate Mtaita and then tutaona kama.
All right. Okay. Thank you very much, Harry. All right. So without waiting so much, once we've confirmed the presence of Ramadan, we'll invite him for introduction. But for now, I'll just proceed to introduce our topic today. And as I mentioned earlier, our topic today is on IP and sustainable development. And the objective of this session today is to discuss about the role of IP rights in fostering innovation and creativity while ensuring that we keep track of sustainable development. And as I mentioned, we have 4 speakers. One is Chumane, another is Vicencia, Tabea, and Ramadan. They are both in the IP, well experienced. They have worked for many years in the ecosystem. So we are very much excited to hear from them. And just to start or to kickstart, I would like to invite Vicencia to shortly explain to us, because in this session, we are holding this session specifically to commemorate the IP Day or International Intellectual Property Day. So I will invite Vicencia to explain to us what does the IP Day represent and what does it aim to achieve. Karibu Vicencia.
Asante sana Betha. And so Intellectual Property Day, basically it's an annual global event which is celebrated every 26th of April. But for Tanzania, we usually celebrate it afterwards, usually in May, because as we may know, for Tanzanians, we all know, 26th of April is the public holiday. It's a union of Tanganyika and Zanzibar. So to give the due respect to both events or the both days, so we celebrate IP Day on a later date. So maybe many people might be confused. Why are we celebrating maybe now? Or for BRELA also as the National Intellectual Property Office has organized in a collaboration with COSOTA on the 9th of May. So people might be wondering, why are we celebrating it on May? So that's the reason. It's because we can celebrate it on 26th because it's a public holiday and it's also a big event in Tanzania as well. So as I said, it's an annual event, and the idea to celebrate the Intellectual Property Day is basically to raise awareness about the role of intellectual property rights in encouraging innovation and the creativity. It's actually a day to celebrate innovation, to recognize intellectual property contribution to societal challenges and groundbreaking inventions. It's a day of reflection, to reflect on the opportunities and challenges, progress, and bold ideas that are making difference in our communities. So in every year, there is a specific theme that the international community celebrates on intellectual property. And specifically in 2024, we are celebrating, or we are reflecting on the intersectionality between IP and the Sustainable Development Goals. I think we all know about these goals, which the international community came up with Agenda 2030 because of the realization that the world is under extreme poverty. And one of the things to do away with this extreme poverty, they came up with these goals, and they are 17 goals. So to achieve these goals, there are a lot of issues, a lot of efforts to do that. But intellectual property plays a very big role. But we expect, or the international community expected, that in 2030 it will be a day of celebration of achievement of these goals. But the question is, are we there yet? So if I'm to reiterate that briefly on the message of the Director General of the World Intellectual Property Organization on the 26th this year of April, he said that the SDGs progress has stalled with only 15% of the goals on track. So like only 15% of the goals have been really achieved, and 2030 is just around the corner. So how are we going to push everything towards achieving these goals? Intellectual property comes in actually to fuel that. And that's why it was important, as we are celebrating the Intellectual Property Day this year, to intersect between, or to look or reflect on the power and role of intellectual property to attaining the SDGs.
Thank you very much for that wonderful introduction. I'm pretty sure many of us have understood the message of this year as we look forward to celebrating this day in the context of Tanzania. And we look forward to hearing from the rest of the members on how the IP is shaping the industry and also contributing to the sustainable goals. As you've mentioned, that the achievements is way behind, but we are hoping for the better. And now I see like Ramadan have managed to join us. Ramadan from Kosota, karibu sana. I would like you to introduce yourself briefly before I proceed. Karibu.
You might be speaking on mute.
Oh, yeah, he's speaking on mute for sure. Ramadan, can you unmute your mic, please?
Okay.
Karibu Ramadhani. Okay, perhaps he is encountering some technical problem, so I'll continue with our session, and this goes to both Vicencia and Jumanni, and also Ramadan will chip in once he gets back to Earth. He is able to actually speak. And as we are looking into intersection between innovation, creativity, and sustainable development goals, some of us, our audience, may not know exactly what does it entail by innovation and creativity in the practical sense as well as legal sense. So in this context, I would invite Vicencia to define or to help us understand the full concept of innovation and creativity. Karibu Vicencia.
Thank you, Betha. So maybe I'll look at innovation and the creativity from two perspectives. So the first perspective, I'll just look at it as a general term. General terms in terms of innovation. It's a simple meaning or simple understanding, and I might say it's just a process of creating something new. Innovation is just a process of creating something new or improving upon existing ideas or products or services. And it involves, let's say, introducing new methods, or ideas or technology that can bring about positive change or value. Let me just give an example. Back in the days, before like the bottled water, came in the market, we used to see people selling like drinking water in big buckets, and sometimes using cups, selling water in cups. And then we moved to like plastic bags, like little ones, there was a name we used to call, I can't recall it right now, but we used to sell, people used to sell water in that sense. So selling water might be just not like a really novel idea, but when someone use that same idea to come up with something better, like now we see bottled water, maybe they're more safer, etc., and the technology that was employed in bringing these products or services in the market. So that basically it's innovation. So that's like a really simple meaning. And creativity, on the other hand, and basically the two sometimes are being used interchangeably, but creativity, on the other hand, is more of that ability to generate original ideas. It's about thinking outside the box, an approach to issues or problems in a very novel way, like a new way. So you can see with the technology, with the innovation, you can really pick back on another idea, but with the innovation, we're looking at a more of a creativity. And when it comes to law, and especially in the aspect of intellectual property. So with innovation, you can look at it in more of say patents, like when people coming up with a say invention. You can also use like pigbanking on an existing technology or existing something, but taking that extra step, going an extra mile. But also can mean coming up with something new, but more of in the legal sense, when you talk about, say, patents or trademarks, but more of patents, you find a lot of like innovation in patents. I think I understand, or maybe people in the audience understand when I say patent trademarks, but maybe just a bit of explanation on patents. It's like a document, like granting of right to people who have invented solutions in the community. So for instance, you've produced, let's say you've come up with the idea to come up with a computer, a laptop, or any technology, and then you want that protection on your invention. So that would be protection, that aspect. But when it comes to creativity in law, maybe we'll be so much on what we call copyright, and perhaps Ramadan will talk more about that. But it's talk about originality, or coming up with the creative ideas in the creative industry. And of course, when you talk about trademarks, you can also put creativity in there, but it comes with a different aspect altogether. So as far as BRELA is concerned, and as far as these two aspects are concerned, you find that you see a lot of innovation in the patent aspect, and also in the trademarks, because when people come up with idea like a brand name or a logo or something for the, for their trade, something distinctive, something to differentiate themselves against other traders in the market. They've used creativity, but they've also used sort of innovation. So I'm not quite sure if these differences like clear enough, but because many people use it interchangeably. But when it comes to, like, say, the laws that BRELA administrate, which are patents and trademarks, when it comes to intellectual property, we see a lot of innovation. And when you go to COSOTA, maybe creativity will be more used. But I'm sure Ramadan can add also on that things.
Thank you very much. We appreciate the very comprehensive definition and also distinction between the two, because most of us tend to perhaps confuse the two words, while they may differ or interrelate. And yes, that was very clear. And I would invite Jumanne to add on that in terms of like practical sense of the two words. Ramadhani, karibu sana, utueleze about a little bit about what is your understanding as you've had several years of experience working with inventors, innovators, creative minds. What would be your take on this?
I believe it's Jumanne, not Ramadan.
Yes, I meant Jumanne. Samahani.
Okay, so okay, no problem. First of all, thank you, Rose Tanzania, and also partners Brera and COSOTA for an opportunity to share my 2 cents. In real sense, the sense here may cover a significant chunk of what I could have possibly share. Maybe just to add on, can you confirm first of all if you can hear me?
Yes, we can hear you clearly.
Yeah. So maybe just to add on, most of the time when you talk about creativity, you talk about original expression of ideas, and that's why it's highly related to artists. And when it's come to protection of creative works, the focus is on copyrights because literally you're safeguarding artistic and literary work. That's why musicians, artists, composers, wengi wao wanaoperate on the creative side of the intangible assets. And when it's come to innovation, most of the time the focus, since when you innovate, you're developing new ideas, that potential could be protected through patents and trade secrets. Your focus is more on things that can either improve process.
We lost you, Jumanne. Sijajua ni mimi peke yangu who cannot hear you.
Can you hear me now?
I can hear you.
Yes, now we can hear.
Hello, can you hear me now?
Yes, I confirm to hear you now.
Can someone confirm if you're hearing me?
Yes, Jumanne, we cannot hear you.
Okay, this is tricky. Hello?
Can you hear us, Jumanne? We can hear you.
Betha, can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you, Jumanne. Please
Hello?
proceed. Hello? Hello? Jumanne? Okay. Ramadan from COSOTA, karibu. Jumanne? Okay. Yes, now I hear you.
And log in. Yeah, what I was trying to say is Vicencia has spoken a significant chunk of what I would have said, but I'm saying from on the side of creatives, the focus is more on expression of original ideas. The focus is more on original ownership of the work of an artist or somebody has done a literary work. So most of the time, the focus is on trying to help them have control of something that they have originally imagined that is going to create value in a society. And the economy that is coming out of that is called a creative economy because it's based on creative work. but somehow it's also related to intangible economy or intangible asset, because most of these ideas and concepts originally are being imagined in someone's head or in someone's brain, and they're not tangible. On the innovation side, basically, again, what Vicencia said, you are looking into processes of introducing new ideas. These could be devices, could be approach, could be methods. And most of the time, you're just applying something better than what people used to have or people used to do. And the main difference also is that it doesn't have to be something completely new, because this is where it draws the line between innovation and invention, because most of the time invention is something completely new, something that people have never seen before. But with innovation could have been something that you're doing in order to improve what is already existing. You could have been improving the process, you could have been improving, it could possibly be improving an approach or something like that. And I'm not a lawyer, but from a legal perspective, what I understand is that innovation in legal terms often refers to the development of new ideas that can be protected through patents or trade secret to ensure that inventors can control and use their invention and possibly reap financial benefits from their work. In this legal protection, the primary aim is to actually encourage more development and sharing of new ideas, as well as rewarding innovators for the work that they are doing. So basically, the whole concept is there to make sure there's ownership, there's a protection, but also these invention, these solution, these creative works are productively contributing to the economy. So I'll stop there, Betha.
Well, thank you thank you very much for that wonderful insight. And yes, you help us very much in defining or drawing the demarcation between the invention or innovation and the creativity. And I'm pretty sure that now people can grasp the context in the practical sense and the legal sense as well. Now, I'm not sure if I can get a confirmation from Ramadan from Kosota, who is also our speaker and is supposed to respond to this question as well. Ramadan, can you please confirm if you hear me, and so that I can confirm that you can respond? Nakusikia lakini sauti yako iko chini sana, and for some reason kuna kama mwangu hivi.
And probably anatumia headphones or something. Maybe angetoa aonge directly to the device.
Yeah.
Okay, hapo nakusikia. Nilikuwa kweli natumia.
Karibu Dhani, would you introduce? Then I'll pose a question on you.
Okay. As my fellow speakers have elaborated on the two words, that the two key words, that is creativity and innovation, I will go directly to the proper definitions or to the proper way, to the proper key uses of these two words. I will start with innovation. Do you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you. Please proceed. Ramadhani, umemute tena.
Hello?
Hapo tunakusikia.
Hapo wanasikia. So as I said that,
Ndio.
at the two words, we say that these are the key aspects of the intellectual property. That means creativity and innovation. With innovation, we say that this is a successful exploration of a new idea, and this involves turning an invention into commercial successful and encouraging its widespread use. This at all, we say that it is a stage where bolded ideas, once properly developed, are brought to the public eyes. Under this innovation, we say that the major things to be taken up is patents and the trade secrets, meaning that when we
Ramadhani naona ametupotea tena. I think we have gotten the idea of what does innovation and creativity entails in the context of legal point of view and the practical point of view from both Vicencia and the Jumanne. So I'll perhaps invite Tabea if she can add on what Vicencia and Jumanne had said earlier on what's the distinction between the creativity and innovation. Karibu Tabea.
Hi, Betha. Are you able to hear
Yes?
me?
Yes, please proceed.
Yes, I was gonna say that I think I agree with Jumanne's definition. I don't know why there's a background sound. Let me try to fix this.
Rama ulikuwa umepotea kidogo.
Yes, nimerudi. Hello. Hello.
Yes, Ramadhani. Kuna changamoto kwa najisikia technically. Rama unaongea nikiwa naongea. Ramadhani. Okay. Tabea, can you try to speak?
Hello?
Yes.
Yeah, I was also
Can you
hearing
speak?
myself earlier. Are you able to hear me now?
No. Yes, clear.
Yeah, I was saying that my understanding is not very different from what Jumanne and Vicencia highlighted earlier. I think creativity is more around the intangibles, and in the creative industry, and innovation is really around things like patents. So with that, I wouldn't want to repeat what they have already said.
All right. Okay. Okay. I hear you. Okay. So while we are linking the IP and the sustainable development goals and trying to see how do the innovation and creativity interrelate and how do they play a role into sustainable development, Tabea, can you help us understand or conceptualize what does the sustainable development mean? And what are those in brief mention, and what does the UNDP does in terms of sustainable development, and as well as the as a accelerated lab do in the space of innovation and creativity.
Thank you again. Yeah, so the SDGs, as highlighted earlier by Vicencia, okay, the SDGs is the abbreviation for Sustainable Development Goals, and as the name itself suggests, this is sort of a blueprint to guide the implementation of sustainable development. And now I know this sounds like a tautology, so it might be maybe important for me to define sustainable development so that we are best positioned to comprehend what SDGs are. And maybe I will allow me to quote the definition from the United Nations itself for obvious reasons. And it says sustainable development is how we must live today if we want a better tomorrow, by meeting present needs without compromising the chances of future generations to meet their needs. So this whole idea of sustainable development in a nutshell is around meeting today's needs with the future in mind. And these 17 sustainable development goals were put in place to ensure that there's a logical but also sort of a pragmatic approach to achieving this aspect of meeting today's needs with the future in mind, and have a systematic way of measuring the progress. And if you take a look at the SDGs, you will notice that there are a lot of interlinkages across these goals. One goal might be reinforcing another goal and vice versa. And this is to ensure that the interventions towards achieving sustainable development is not in isolation. That is, we take a systemic approach towards achieving these sustainable development. And these goals build on the previous action plans. I'm sure most of you might have heard of Millennial Development Goals, which culminated in 2015. But now the SDGs, which are the successor for the MDGs, are much more broader, and they include things around climate action, and they also address issues of inequality and justice. So the UNDP mandate is really around poverty eradication, democratic government, rule of law, and inclusive institutions. And these all feed into the achievement of the sustainable development. And the UNDP Accelerator Lab, which is part of the UNDP, is it's a global network of about 91 labs spanning across 115 countries. And the labs exist to sort of complement and push this broader mandate of UNDP. But then it comes, these labs come with the capabilities to scan the emerging challenges rapidly, and then we also surface grassroots innovations and experiment their viability before we can widely advocate for their adoption by either UNDP programs or policymakers and even other actors in the private sector. So we have very short learning cycles revolving around 100 days, which really allows us to learn fast on what works and what doesn't. And at the UNDP, but also even at the UNDP Accelerator Lab, we acknowledge and recognize innovation as an integral part in the work that we do. And we also acknowledge the importance of innovation as an enabler for sustainable development. And that is why in our work, we support a number of initiatives around innovation. We support the innovation ecosystem in various ways. For example, the lab itself has some initiatives supporting innovators, but also other country office programs and portfolios here in Tanzania do also have initiatives supporting innovation. The example of this is the Funguo Innovation Program, which is under the youth portfolio. At the moment, we are still experimenting the best ways possible to work with innovators, particularly these grassroots innovators, and navigate across these intellectual property rights challenges. And this is still work in progress, but the UN also has a specialized agency known as WIPO, which stands for World Intellectual Property Organization. So just to throw a disclaimer here, this specialized agency is the global forum that supports issues around intellectual property services, policy, information, and cooperation. So it has the mandate to promote intellectual property. Over.
Thank you very much, Tabea, for that wonderful explanation and for the wonderful role that UNDP, especially Accelerator Lab, is doing in terms of supporting the innovations and the promotion of IP in Tanzania and across the global. And yes, we look forward to hear more on that in the later questions. I'm reserving some questions for you later, but for now, I will invite Vicencia as our speaker from Business Registration and Licensing Authority, BRELA. Vicencia, we understand that you are a major part or a key player in the ecosystem. So we would want you or would like you to shed light on the role of the BRELA in terms of incentivizing innovation in Tanzania. Karibu sana.
Asante Betha. Just to take you back to the BRELA's name is actually agency, BRELA Business Registrations and Licensing Agency. So yes, when we talk about incentives and the role of BRELA, but I think it's important I mention that when we talk about incentives for innovation to thrive, the most important one, perhaps it's not even money, it's actually the legal environment, the protection of such innovation. And because when the innovators are working on the products or services, sometimes depending on the industry, but they spend a lot of time working on these innovations that they want to put or solutions that they want to put in the society or in the market. So, they sweat a lot. They spend a lot of money. And for instance, if I mention, say, for example, pharmaceutical industry, to produce a drug, it may take even 10 years or more. And not all drugs, they pass through the permits and they sometimes fail. Like for instance, you may find a company working on maybe a cure for a certain illness or disease, but after like 10 years of research and everything and investment, they go to the regulators and tell them like, no, we cannot put this product in the market because of issues of efficacy. It's not safe, So they have to throw their research altogether and start afresh, either to work on the same product or to improve it or to come up entirely with something new. So if we don't put better and protective environment, for the innovators, so we will not see inventions or innovation thriving in our communities. So for me, I believe the best and most important is the legal environment. And that's actually what BRELA is doing, is actually to support innovation by protecting innovators. And maybe I should mention, when we talk about intellectual property, in Tanzania, BRELA is the National Intellectual Property Office. And we are administering industrial properties. With the intellectual property, we have copyright and we have industrial properties. With the industrial property, we have patents, we have trademarks, and we have plant breeders' rights, we have trade secrets, we have utility models, we have industrial designs and stuff. But for BRELA, we are administering only 2 patents, of course, with the utility models and trade and service marks. Now, what we do, we protect inventions, we protect innovations, we protect innovators. If you've come up with your innovation and you meet all the prerequisites, then you will be protected. And that's the biggest incentive that innovators have, that you're sure once I'm done with my invention, with my product, with my service, with my process, I'm sure that nobody will take advantage of my technology, will take advantage of my innovation without my authorization. You are sure. For instance, with a patent, you have 20 years, you are protected. So this is I think it's one of the things that BRELA does to incentivize innovators. But another thing that we do, that BRELA does, is we offer training and awareness to the community, to researchers, to universities, to students, to young entrepreneurs, to journalists. Like yesterday, for instance, we collaborated with COSOTA and Tanzania Media Foundation. We trained over 100 journalists, and such kind of knowledge is important to support innovators, but also the community at large. And that's why, like, if you go to BRELA or to the people in the ecosystem, that I will be supported in terms of skills and knowledge on this aspect. For instance, there are a lot of people who really don't know the differences, for instance, between patents and copyright and trademarks. So they say, like, you know what, I want to register my patent. But if you look at it, it's not even patent. It doesn't fall in that aspect. So giving education or awareness is one of the incentives that we give. But also, as I said, BRELA is the business registration and licensing agency. So with registrations, we also register businesses. So innovators, you may register your invention or your innovation, but you can also register your business, your business name or your company. So with that kind of registration, you are recognized in terms of you will be recognized in the government, you'll be recognized with other partners. For instance, an innovator is looking for financial support. It's easy to go with your company certificate rather than just walking, hey, I'm Vincenzi, I want some so and so money. But if I go there with my certificate, or as a company or as a business name owner, then it's easier. But also we do a lot of we support like enhancing technical capacity in terms of human resources in intellectual property, where we partner with like-minded organizations, both in Tanzania, but also outside Tanzania, like with the WIPO, with ARIPO, to support people interested in intellectual property. For instance, we have master program at the University of Dar es Salaam. It's called Master of Intellectual Property, where we offer scholarships to students to study Master of Intellectual Property. So it's another incentive. So for instance, and this Master of Intellectual Property is not only for lawyers. So if you want to do this program and you're not a lawyer, you can still do that. And then we celebrate innovations. Like, for instance, as I said, we are celebrating Intellectual Property Day. It's a day where, like, all our efforts are put here to support and celebrate innovations. But also, we expect later this year to hold National Intellectual Property Awards. So these are all part of incentives, because we are not operating in silos. We are operating in the pool of the people who are interested in supporting innovations and technology, and so the IP ecosystem as a whole. So that's in brief how BRELA incentivize innovations in Tanzania. Thank you.
Wow, that is very deep. Thank you very much, Vicencia, for your time in explaining the role of BRELA in incentivizing the ecosystem. And just to brief, is that you've mentioned about providing the legal and regulatory environment, or ecosystem or platform where people can go and seek protection of their invention or creativity. And you've spoken about training and the capacity building that you've been doing so far, including the initiative to be a pioneer for masters for copyright. And yeah, I think most of the people would now be able to see where they can begin when they have their invention or creativity. And I'll go to to Ramadan, who works at Kosota. Ramadhani, we've heard about the key three issues here, or words, which is trademark, copyright, and patents. And I understand that COSOTA as well plays a key role towards incentivizing the ecosystem. And we would like to hear from you in terms of the roles that COSOTA plays and in which specific angle that COSOTA works on. Karibu Ramadhani.
Asante sana, nadhani nasikika vizuri eh?
Kabisa, sasa hivi umekaa vizuri.
Okay, first of all, it should be understood that COSOTA, we all deal with the copyright issues. So I may start by explaining about the copyright, and then I will go to the direct to the point. Okay, as we know that copyrights, these are exclusive and assignable legal rights granted to the originators of the literary and artistic works, including books, music, films, and software programs. So in our jurisdiction, the issues of copyright are regulated by the Copyright and Neighboring Rights Act number 7 of 1999 as amended by Act number 5 of 2022 and its regulations. We know that copyright grants the creators and all the owners the exclusive rights to reproduce, to distribute, to display and perform their works. For example, the novelists hold the
Rama, tumekupoteza tena. Ramadhani,
yes.
aidha unaongea ukiwa mbali kidogo na simu yako au labda kuna kitu kingine. Ulipotea kidogo.
Okay. Basi naomba nirudie.
Okay.
I said that copyright grants the creators or the owners the exclusive right to reproduce, to distribute, display, and also to perform their works. And I gave an example, and I said that for the novelists hold the copyrights to their books, and all these allow them to control the publication, the sale, and also adoption of their works. It should be noted that Tanzania has ratified a number of international conventions that act as a tool for promotion and protection of intellectual works. And the conventions include the Berne Convention for the Protection of Literary and Artistic Works. And the other conventions, like the World Intellectual Property Organization and the
Ramadhani, we cannot hear you. You are on mute. Ramadhani? All right, maybe tumpe tena muda Ramadhani. Vicencia, could you be in position to add on what Ramadhani was speaking about, the mandates and the role that COSOTA plays in the ecosystem? Ramadhani, you're back? Okay, Ramadan cannot confirm, so please, Vicencia, continue.
Well, I don't really think I should do that, but maybe a bit of a difference. Maybe I will shed a light. As I said,
Please.
with the BRELA, we support innovators when, for instance, with the trademark and service marks. So we register innovators who come on that aspect, but also for the inventors, we grant patent. So these are like two main types of industrial property support or protection that the innovators are getting from BRELA. Whereas with the COSOTA, they work or deal with creators. And remember the discussion we had when we started the session about innovation and creativity. So more of creators, like they work with writers, people who are like the artists, the musicians, for instance, and also on the technology aspect, the softwares. So that's in that area, in that aspect. That's how they support innovation. But another difference is maybe we should look at is that with the BRELA, the rights that are accorded to the innovators, the trade and service marks, but also the patent, these are not automatic rights. You have to come for registration, and with a trademark, your mark must be distinct. It must be in a certain class. For instance, we have class 1, class 2, and it has to fall whether on service or on product. And with the patent, your innovation or your invention must be new, and must be applicable in certain industry. For instance, we say like we have innovation or technology on the healthy sector or in another sector, education, for instance. But with a copyright, it's an automatic right. Like you don't really need to register. But now, according to the laws in Tanzania, to prove that you are the owner, so you'll have to register with the COSOTA. So it supports innovators, but it's not in other jurisdictions, for instance, mandatory. When you write your book, you are automatically protected. But with the industrial properties, with the laws that BRELA administers, as I said, like trade and service marks law, but also patent law, you have to apply, and we need to see whether it falls on the related aspects that are protected. So, for instance, there are two differences between invention and what we call discovery. The laws in Tanzania doesn't protect discovery. So, for instance, you go to Kilimanjaro and then you find the mountain Kilimanjaro. Say like, yeah, I've come up with this, this mountain. It's called Mount whatever. That will be a discovery and will not be protected. So, an inventor needs to prove that they need to be protected. When we are incentivizing you by giving you, say, 20 years of protection under patent law, you need to give something back to the community. We cannot just support you for 20 years for nothing. So you must come with a solution in the community that would really contribute, say now with the sustainable development, So for instance, we have a community challenge in our community, for instance, the issue of, let's say, before the cars were invented, for instance, people had to walk, miles and miles, maybe to go fetch water or to go to school. But then the cars were invented. People no longer had to walk. They had to, be in the bicycles or in motorcycles or in cars. And instead of going to the wells to fetch water or to the rivers, now we have tap water in the house. So this is a solution. What kind of a problem are you dealing with? No, women will no longer have to wake up early in the morning, going to the villages or to the miles and miles to fetch water. So they will be protected. So they will have access to safe water in the house. They will have more time to spend with their children and their families, and it will be also safer. So you'll see that all these innovations are supporting, SDGs on one hand, but also on the other, you are adding something to you as an innovator, but also the law. So it's like a cycle, and then you get the law protecting you. So we cannot protect people or protect innovation that does not add or provide solutions to the community. So I hope Ram is back. I can chip in, but just wanted to maybe to shed light on that aspect. Thank you.
It does help. It does help a lot, Vicencia. And I see, yes, Ramadan is on and off. And for now, he's not here. But yes, from your explanation, most of us will be able to grasp the idea that BRELA specifically deals with the trademark, service mark, and patent, while the COSOTA, on the other hand, is ideal on the copyright, which is more of the literal or artistic works. So without wasting so much time, I will go to Jumanne. Jumanne, can you confirm you are with me right now?
Yes, I'm with you guys. How are you?
All right, that's great. So, Jumanne, you have been amongst the pioneers of the innovation ecosystem in Tanzania, from the time when you were in COSTECH to the main industry, and now your organization ran a hub to support innovation, and you also partake in higher learning institutions' effort to grow innovation. So we would like you to share with us the journey of innovation so far, the trends, the roles of higher learning institution in fostering innovation, and lastly, the general public attitude towards the Tanzanian-based innovation and creativity. Karibu.
Okay, thank you. Can you confirm that you can hear me?
I can hear you properly, kabisa.
Okay, thank you so much. First of all, thank you, Ramazan, as well as Vicencia, for your contribution. Yeah, so where should I start? I think a lot has been happening in the Tanzania innovation ecosystem. I can say innovation started way earlier in Tanzania, even before I was born, I think. So, but the key issue is innovation ecosystem. How does players work together collaboratively in order to push the agenda of innovation? And for those who don't understand what is an innovation ecosystem, it's an ecosystem where different actors and players can be private sector partners, academic and research institutions, regulators and government, startup communities, entrepreneurship support organization. So all these different players, different actors, when they come and work together to push innovations, that's what we call an innovation ecosystem. So starting from your first question, we have seen our innovation ecosystem evolving over the years, different players coming in, regulatory landscape being improving. Right now, you hear things like sandbox, the DOTs, they have their own sandbox. ICT Commission, they were working on the national sandbox, which is a safe environment for innovators to test their ideas and their concept before they can go mainstream. So now we are seeing regulators playing a role of facilitators instead of policing the ecosystem, which is good because it means innovation right now can easily go to the market. But also we see different private sector partners, especially corporate companies, some of the banks and telecom companies coming in, working with the innovators directly. I saw, I think 2 or 3 days ago in social media, the CEO of TSA, Tanzania Startup Association, having a courtesy meeting with Vodacom Tanzania. So those collaborations and partnership between different players to promote innovation ecosystem is what you do to assess the maturity of an innovation ecosystem. And in terms of the role of academic institutions, we are also seeing that role being improving. Most of our academic institutions, of course, they're still operating in second generation institutions where most emphasis is being given on just academic and research. But recently we've seen universities also starting to
Jumanne, we've
solutions and
lost.
problems. Can you hear me now?
Yes.
Yeah, someone was calling me, sorry. So we have been seeing more engagement of universities right now. Universities are piloting new innovation hub, co-working spaces. Playing a role in ecosystems. They are playing a very crucial role because their primary mandate is to actually produce and nurture talent that could bring value to the innovation ecosystem. As you know, ukiangalia sehemu zote duniani, some of the innovators and startup founders and researchers ambao wameweza ku transform different sectors, they have emerged from innovation and so what we are looking to. Can you confirm that you can hear me?
Yes, I can confirm, even though you are on and
Yeah,
off,
yeah, yeah, yeah.
especially the
What is happening? There's a lot of phone calls that are coming to my phone. Anyway, yeah, but so the academic institution have been playing an important role, to be honest, and the role. Let me tell you. Sorry, can you hear me, guys?
Yes, now we can hear
Hello?
you even.
Bessa, can you hear
Yes,
me?
yes, I can hear you.
Hello?
Jumanne, yeah, I can hear you.
Hello?
Okay.
Hello, Makata.
Jumanne. Oh man. Jumanne. I think he is trying to pick up the call. No. Okay, let me try to. Okay, now you are back. Jumanne, you are on mute. Oh, yes, now I can hear you. Okay, we have two speakers from Jumanne's phone. We are happy to have you both.
Okay, she's doing our homework.
Karibu,
Yeah.
tumekupoteza kidogo.
Sorry guys. Mtu alikuwa anapiga kwa hiyo imebidi nimuombe asipige maana anapiga constantly. Anyway, so
All right, no problem.
yeah, what I was trying to say, our innovation ecosystem has evolved and the role of academic institution has also improved. Most of academic institutions right now are really trying to move beyond just academic and research to incorporate innovation, technology, entrepreneurship, as well as community engagement. In terms of general perception and readiness of Tanzanians to accept local innovation and local solutions, Scientifically, I don't think there's any research that has been done to assess that. But from general perspective on what we are seeing on social media, there's a lot of acceptance when it comes to a young Tanzanian come up with an innovation. You've seen young Tanzanians ambao wamedesign magari na helicopter na nini. There's a lot of acceptance and also ile sense ya watu kuwa proud with local innovations and local innovators. The critical challenge that I'm seeing right now is what is missing ni ile kuwa realistic on what is innovative and what is not, and what can be commercialized and scaled, and what can be just used for exhibitions and also to create your sense, interest in innovation. There was a discussion around what is innovation, what is invention, and also in a context ya kwetu, upi ni ubunifu, upi ni utundu, upi ni ujuzi na vitu kama hivyo. So the key issue right now is to try as much as possible to see how innovation ecosystem can help innovators move beyond exhibitions. How do we take our innovators beyond just Sabasaba and Nane Nane, and to try as much as possible most of these innovative and inventive works to go mainstream, to be commercialized, so that they can create impact not only in Tanzania but also at the regional and global market. And I think that is a very important discussion to have when it comes to IP and how can we be able to tap into regional and global markets. I know it's easy to protect in the local market right now because of the awareness that COSOTA and BRELA is bringing locally, but to compete competitively at the regional and global markets, there's also a need to create awareness, but also platform to allow our local innovators to be able to do that. We have seen recently a lot of young Tanzanians were coming up with very disruptive innovations, the likes of Nara by Benjamin Fernandez, Ian Usiri with Ramani, and even Andron Mendes when he was able to exit with Cyclegas, selling his company technology with millions of money. That is a sign and it's a good promise that actually intangible asset can be able to unlock economic opportunities in Tanzania. But we have to think beyond borders, we have to think beyond Tanzania, and we also have to establish systems that allow for that to happen. And for academic institutions, I think there's an important role to play in terms of improving the quality of our TTOs, technology transfer offices, but also to be able to put more emphasis on designing systems that allow proper innovation as well as research commercialization on campus. And all in all, just to wrap it up, is not one person's role. The government can play a role in terms of promotion and regulation. If academic institution can emphasize on producing talent and creating system to support those talents, but also we need local investors who appreciate intangible assets, sababu kama tuna wawekezaji tu wa mashamba na majumba na hakuna mtu appreciate copyrights and trademarks and all these other things, it's also very difficult to be able to create a creative as well as an intangible economy. So it's a role of everyone who is part of the ecosystem if we are to unlock and build a common future with IP, especially around innovation and creativity to promote the SDGs. So I'll stop there, and I'll have to drop, guys, because Easy Simon is a crisis I need to fix at the company. So thank you so much for your time.
Thank you very much, Jumanne, for that comprehensive remark on where we are, how far have we come, and what is happening, especially the mentioning of the sandbox that BOT came up with last year. And we are looking forward to having more engagement. So we are sure that we will have you in the next session. So asante sana, and yes, if you are supposed to go fix some issues at the company, we can really excuse you for that. And while cementing on that, I will invite Tabea to share with us, like, so far as innovative lab at UNDP. what type of innovations that you are seeing happening, especially in Tanzania, as one among the supporters of the ecosystem in Tanzania?
Thank you, Bertha. Yeah, so given the work that we do at the Accelerator Lab, I would say the innovations that we are observing or engaging with can fall under two broad categories, and that is the informal ones and the formal innovations. So when it comes to us mapping innovative grassroots solutions, we mostly work with informal innovators, and these grassroots innovations normally emerge from the citizens themselves. And these could be a result of people trying to invent solutions to address the needs that they are confronted with on day-to-day basis, or the needs of their loved ones. Let's say you have a sick parent or grandparent who can't cross the river to attend a clinic or a hospital, then you come up with, let's say, a flying wheelchair to support them. But then you just use that innovation to support your loved one. And in some cases, there are some innovators who just innovate for hedonic purposes. So there's no commercial motive. These could either be process or product innovations. And now the Accelerator Lab, since its inception, has been very intentional about unearthing or diffusing bottom-up solutions that respond to the pressing global issues and accelerate the achievement of the SDGs. And we have a huge network across the globe of solution mappers who are doing this work. I think we have around 91 solution mappers, because we believe that people who are close to the problems are best positioned to come up with solutions that really speak to those issues. And as a result, most of these solutions are very ingenious and fit for purpose. And since they're informal, in most cases, they would be sort of open source without any obvious intentions to pursue knowledge appropriation or IP rights. And as a result, most of them remain underground or unnoticed. But as I said earlier again, the Accelerator Lab also supports some social innovations. We are not incubating these innovations in our Accelerator Labs. For example, we have an initiative dubbed WasteX Lab, which is a partnership between UNDP, UNICEF, and the State University of Zanzibar, which solely focuses on incubating and scaling climate smart solutions. And this lab, this WasteX Lab, is housed at the State University of Zanzibar, that is SUZA in Zanzibar. So the innovators we support under this initiative would mostly fall under the formal innovation. And apart from this, we are also constantly scanning different emerging innovations, frontier technologies that could be mainstreamed into the UNDP programmatic work or support the evidence-based policy making that the government is doing to champion inclusive economic growth. I don't know if I've answered the question.
You have answered the question very much in terms of what type of innovation that you are seeing and the fostering. And I will just want you to, because you've mentioned already what type of invention or innovation that you actually looking at and grooming, how can you link them with the sustainable goals, sustainable development goals?
Yeah, so these innovations are directly linked to sustainable development goals. For example, when we talk about climate smart solutions, for example, here we are talking about climate action. So this could be around recycling or innovations that are accelerating circular economy, which are all addressing the SDGs. And again, even the grassroots innovations that we are surfacing and documenting are also responding to various social economic issues, and hence have a direct impact to the achievement of the SDGs. And also when it comes to innovations or frontier technologies that we are mainstreaming in the either in either our programming work or the policy work of the government, we are also contributing to the SDGs, because if the government or the policymakers are able to implement policies that are inclusive and are responding to the achievement of economic prosperity, then they're directly also responding to the SDGs.
Thank you very much, Tabea, for that. And I'm very happy to hear that one among the invention or innovation that you are seeing at UNDP Accelerator app is the climate smart solutions. And it touched my heart because it responds to the very definition of UN in terms of what is the Sustainable Development Goal, as you mentioned earlier, that simply is how we live today by not compromising tomorrow. So I just wanted also to hear from you. You've mentioned one of the innovation like climate solutions. Are you seeing other solutions that are being invented by the local communities or even the youth and the staff that are in the other areas, like for example hospital roads and all other areas that are dear to our environment or our economy?
Yes, we are, and maybe I didn't mention, but we at the Accelerator Lab we do have this solutions mapping platform, which is accessible to the general public, and here is where we publish different kinds of innovations and innovators that we are supporting or we are surfacing. So these could range from, agricultural solutions to climate action. They cut across different issues related to sustainable development, because that is like our main goal. Like sustainable development is like our North Star. So all these innovations that we are supporting or the innovators that we are working with are responding to issues related to sustainable development.
Okay, thank you very much. And I just want to keep you talking, and I also want to hear, because you've mentioned very well that Accelerator Hub is there to perhaps nurture, foster, breed, groom, and stuff. Anyone who is perhaps inventing, or I'm a young person who has ideas of the solution that could result into something bigger in the future, but I want someone to perhaps guide me on how to go about it, on how to maximize it or commercialize it. Is this something that UNDP does? And if it does, how can they access that platform at UNDP Accelerator app?
Yeah, so we do have, first of all, they have to consent for their solution to be uploaded in that platform. But then we do have a link that can be shared widely for people to upload their solutions. So once you log into the platform, then there is a guideline on how to upload your solution. So you provide the details about your solution, what it does, and yeah. So there's also like a consent form on for you to agree for your solution to be uploaded in that platform. The whole idea is to have these solutions broadcasted so that others can also either build on them, of course, with proper guidelines, because we know that there are issues around copyrights and all that. So there is a structured process for those solutions to be uploaded in that platform. And as for supporting like innovators to scale their innovations, at the moment we are not doing it like on one-on-one basis, because it can be very cumbersome, but we are trying to we have to identify some priority areas. So if a particular solution is aligned with one of the areas of priorities that we are working on, then we are more than happy to conduct further experiments on that particular solution to see to what extent it can be scaled, and to also see how we can now support that particular innovator with that solution to move it to that next step. So that is how it works, because in each learning cycle, as I said earlier, we do have some areas of priorities. So if that particular innovation at that point in time happens to fall under a certain priority area that we're working on at that particular moment, let's say the focus at that particular moment is waste management, then if we come across an innovation around waste management, then we are more than happy to conduct further experiments to assess the viability of that solution and see how it can contribute to the, again, sustainable development, and then find ways to support the scale up for it.
Wow, that's really interesting, and thank you very much for sharing that. It's the biggest opportunity for the innovators in this house, and if we have our colleagues and the friends and the young brothers and young sisters, uncles, and so forth, who perhaps they have ideas, solutions that they think is within the parameters that Tabea was trying to explain. Of course, we'll have to follow up on more guidance on what are their priorities at the moment or in the future. You can consult them, and then your idea can result into something bigger. Now I will invite Ramadan. Ramadan, can you confirm that you are with me? I see you here, but I want you to confirm. Ramadhani from Kosota. Harry. Harry. Okay. So I'll move to not to Mwesige, Vicencia. Vicencia.
I'm here. I'm here. You can hear me.
Yes, I'm just and
No,
trying to
Ramadan was having
understand where Ramadan.
I think he was having problems with network, so maybe we can just proceed with other speakers and perhaps the audience as well. Yes.
Hii network haitaki watu wa Kosota watuambie mambo mazuri jamani. All right, Vicencia, there is another issue here. We've heard from Jumanne have tried to explain to us how far the innovation has come, what are the trends and the roles that various institutions and most especially the higher learning is doing in fostering the ecosystem. And as a regulator, I would wish for you to share with us what are the challenges that you are seeing that are associated with the innovation and that hinders innovation and creativity. Karibu, Vicencia.
Um, uh, yes, Asante Bertha. Um, there are quite some challenges, but I might be able to touch some few. One of them I might say is the lack of knowledge that innovation is power and can be protected. So we have a lot of innovators out there, I believe. But then the challenge is about protecting their inventions or innovations. So, as I said from the beginning, one of the role or mandate that BRELA has, and it's a mandate that actually incentivizes innovation, is to protect these inventions or innovations and um, to register them. So you might find people having beautiful stuff, but they don't register them or they don't protect them. So it's a call to innovators out there to protect their innovations. So I understand that sometimes people may not know what kind of innovation they really have, on what kind of protection are they looking for, but our doors are open. But also BRELA services are offered online. All of our services are offered online, and you can just at the tip of your hand, just using your mobile phone, you can register your invention or innovation. But also, to address this challenge, we engage with various innovators. We don't work, as I said, in silos. We work together with other organizations, with individual innovators, always engaging them. You have to protect. And, sometimes, sometimes when we actually meet people, and they're like, this thing is really good. Why don't you consider registering it, protecting it? So we do a lot of outreach to innovators out there. And as I said, our online platforms and our doors are open, because we want as much as possible for people to access us and access and protect their innovations. So that's one of the challenges, and how to deal with that. But another thing that I see is the access to information that boosts innovation. We talked about innovation earlier, and when we were trying to define, and we said that you can actually pick bank on what other people have come up with. And sometimes it's a question of like, should we reinvent the wheel, or should we use possible innovation information that's out there? So we are living in an era where we have a lot of information, a lot of good stuff out there. I mean, if you want to just spend the day and read stuff about innovation across platforms, you will read, and I mean, like, you will not finish, But now it's a challenge for us to actually access and try to find and especially a lot of open source out there as well. We can just learn and equip ourselves with knowledge and the skills on the existing innovations and technology. And I believe through learning, we can expand our knowledge and skills, and actually our ideas, and come up with even better and productive innovations. And another thing I think also is the issue of documenting our success. And we sometimes I think there's that lack of documentation. And but also when I said earlier about lack of knowledge, so when innovator come up with say like a groundbreaking invention. They go round talking about invention to the extent that when they come for registration, you find that they don't meet the prerequisites for protection because it's not new anymore. So when you talk about patent, for instance, as I said earlier, the solution must be new. And the laws under patent, for instance, or trademarks, they are territorial. So you need to register in various jurisdictions if you need protection. But when we talk about novelty, that your invention, for instance, must be new, it has to be new globally. So it has to be really a solution that is not it's not like I've seen something in China or I've seen something in Kenya, then it works like that way. So I want also to protect it in Tanzania. No, it has to be new. So unfortunately, sometimes people may come up with something new, but then they start talking about it. They go to conferences, they go to exhibitions, they tell friends, they tell everyone. So when they come for registration, like, but this has been existing, maybe since maybe years ago, or people already know about this invention. So there's that challenge, and we are doing quite a lot, and we are working, as I said, and we are inviting even collaboration partnerships. As I said, in one of the SDGs, SDG goal number 17 is about partnerships. So to achieve sustainable development goals, we also need to. Another thing that I might say, it's about branding. So maybe we don't brand ourselves so much. So you may find that we have a lot. Like, for instance, I've personally last month trained over, like, I think 400 entrepreneurs, and they have beautiful stuff. But then if you don't see these innovations, coming up, like you don't brand yourself, it's also a challenge. So I think another opportunity that we have to support our innovators, and especially in the ecosystem, is to push for these platforms where our innovators can have that space. So it shouldn't be satisfying or enough that me and my few friends know about my the things that I do. First, you protect, and then after protection, make sure that it's known, so that we add, and we add the data in the country profile that we have so and so innovators in this aspect or in this industry, say in technology, in health, or in education, or any other industry. So and another challenge I might say is we need also to push for digital literacy. As I said, for instance, like most of the information and services are now online. So bit by bit, we are moving from like paperwork to more of e-governance, to more of e-processes, to more of e-protection, and more of like, even in you go like in courts, like now, some cases, you don't really need to go to court, you can just use the video. So we are moving towards that direction, and it's important that we push towards understanding how this information and digital space work. We should also understand that one of the goals, or one of the important thing or aspect of sustainable development goals, is leave no one behind. So as much as we are moving towards e-operations, or e-registrations, we all should also not forget another group of people who will also need services, or to be part of this journey to understand the whole process and everything bit by bit. So, for instance, with us, with Umbrella, we work closely with trade officers across regions. So, like in case a person doesn't really know how to use the services, and so we engage trade officers in region offices, like in the municipals, so they can go there and get support. But we are still working with other other partners like universities and R&D institutions to see that we support our innovators. So these are just some of the challenges, and they are more, and they can be more, I believe. But for the sake of time, I think these are just some of the challenges that came to mind. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Vicencia, for that. And yes, there are several challenges, and you've pointed few of them. And I appreciate the fact that you were in cause of identifying the problems or the challenge. You are also shedding light on the solution that could probably elevate the ecosystem. And yes, thank you very much for that. Tabea, as a person who works with the UNDP, I would like you to also shed light to us on what challenges are you seeing from the grassroots, from the innovators that you are working on with, and what could possibly be the solution to those challenges, or what can be done in order to help improve the ecosystem in Tanzania and also at the global level, in the context that the Tanzanian innovation crosses the borders. Karibu Tabea.
Asante Betha. I really like how Vicencia put it. I would say, okay, when it comes to cross-border, it's quite complex because, again, as I can't remember who said it, but one of the previous speakers said that different countries have got different regulations. So those discrepancies could also pose challenges when it comes to pushing your innovation across the border. But I think another thing that could help is the issue of education. I know Vicency also touched about this. Yes, there's digital literacy, but particularly for the grassroots innovators, there is a strong need for education on how to safeguard their innovations. What the example Vicencia gave is very practical, and it's something that we've also observed, because like I said earlier, some of the informal innovations, for example, are sort of open source. That is, they are free for anyone to use. Like, I have this innovation, I can pass it to my neighbor who might also find it useful. Just to speak on the example I gave earlier, for example, let's say you give that flying wheelchair to your neighbor next door, and they decide, okay, so this maybe uses diesel, perhaps I can try to modify it so that it uses solar power. Then it's a different thing. So if we do not have proper structures at the infancy stage, then it's really difficult even for let's say development partners or other actors with interest to support these innovations to put in place proper mechanisms to support issues around, for example, IP rights. So I would say education is very crucial, and that will be very helpful. But another thing I would say is maybe education for not for innovators, but for other actors. Let's say development partners and even the people working in the innovation ecosystem on regulations, because yes, we know some of them, but I would say some of them, we know them at the surface level. So having a collaborative approach to have us aligned in this space, because we need to understand the local context so that whatever solutions that we come up with are really based on the local content. So that I think will also be an important aspect here.
Thank you very much, Tabea, for that. And yes, we are really appreciative of what you say together with Vicencia and our other speakers. Unfortunately, we couldn't fully utilize Ramadan from Kosota, but of course, that doesn't prevent the members of the audience from contributing. So at this point in time, right now, I would invite our audiences to ask questions, to respond to our question if they want to add on what the speakers have said, also to comment. Karibuni sana members of audience. I understand that some of you creative minds, you are the people who have been working with those people who have ideas and innovations and stuff. So you understand what are the challenges, what are the probable solutions, what could be done to actually elevate the ecosystem na vitu vingine vingi. Karibuni sana. And if there is anyone from TSA, I understand. I think there was someone from Tanzania Startup Association, and I understand they work with a lot of innovators and the creative minds. So if there is anyone, I don't see him anymore. But yes, Harry, continue. Proceed, please.
Thank you. So my thoughts are along the line of what Vicentia had shared with regards to the hardship of proving or creating something which is novel across the global space. It is tough, and regardless, it is still being done elsewhere in the world. Our numbers are really, really slow when it comes to innovation and grant of intellectual property rights like patents. I've shared something within the chat for this session. You can see it on WIPO statistics. And I remember sometimes in 2014, the then Minister of Industry and Trade reported that our patents up until then, since we became an independent country, were around 10 or 11. So you can tell that the state of innovation and creativity is very, very low as a country. And we have not done much better as of now. Sorry for that. So my call is to for the innovators, for the creators to try and challenge the status quo, because if China is doing this, if US is doing this, if India is doing this, if other countries in Africa are doing it, why not us? And what else? What are the things that we are doing that are creative, that are innovative, that we can definitely now go on and create? The world currently is in what we call open innovation era, whereby you can take advantage of spillovers of existing technologies and create newer technologies. Some innovations, like microwave, it's a synergy between a centrifuge machine that was in the laboratory and a normal heater. It became a new technology. So our innovators, our startups, we are having more and more of these. Let us just challenge ourselves and explore more the possibilities of what the technology today is giving us. Now, apart from this comment, I just wanted to perhaps put a question to Vicentia, Brella, and Tabea. What type of creativity or innovation do they see the most? In what areas do we see more and more innovation coming up? I mean, out of Tanzania? Is it maybe edutech? Is it medical? Is it agri-tech? Is it, I don't know, common solutions, maybe e-commerce, and the likes? Thank you.
Thank you very much, Harry, for that contributory note. And yes, I think I agree with you that we should actually try to work better or improve so that we can also keep up with other countries. And also, I think last year, it's not last year, it was 2022. I was reading, I think it was WIPO Innovation Index report, which was seeing that, which indicated that actually the African countries are doing so much better beyond expectations, actually, in the context of like AI innovation. And Tanzania was among the listed countries that is performing well. So, like Harry asked, like, okay, we are seeing developments in AI innovation, but are we seeing other innovation in other areas? And I think we should invite Vicencia as from Brella, and then Tabea will follow after Vicencia in responding to that question. Karibu Vicencia.
Asante sana. And just want to touch a bit on what Tabea said earlier about localizing innovation, and perhaps also to answer or to touch on what Harry said about maybe fewer innovations. And I believe there are a lot of innovations out there, but the issue of registration. So we have to really push for people to register, to do registration, but also we need to, as I said, to work together. Like considering this platform, for instance, today we're talking about IP, but the question is, if you try to weigh between the discussions that we have usually on these platforms in comparison with information on intellectual property, you might find that they don't match, they don't balance. So we need to push more for such kind of conversations, because what I see is that people have interest, so much interest on these topics, but we don't talk much about them. So I think it's a challenge to all of us to making sure that we talk more about these discussion, to have these conversations and discussions. And back to your question about type of innovation that we see the most. Now, if I look at the side of like say trademarks or service marks, you find like most people register on the pharmaceuticals and or ICT, and perhaps we need to also establish to what area most people register on or get patent, because now the challenge is as I said, the knowledge and the skills about patent is also limited to, so like people might be having a good understanding perhaps of what they want to put in the market or in the to register, but then they just don't even know how to say write a patent document. So that perhaps that's one of the reasons why we have maybe fewer registration compared to other countries. But as I said, even the intellectual property aspect in Tanzania is still novel to many people or to many other sectors. So it's an opportunity to push forward for more registrations. Another thing, yeah, I think that was the question. So I can add more if there's more to that.
Yes, thank you very much, Vicencia. You have responded to the question. Tabea, if you have additional comments on that, karibu.
Asante. Yeah, just to respond to Harry's question. First of all, I would agree with what Betha was saying. There is this, there's a lot of hype around AI. So we are starting to see developments there. But there is also an emergency of climate tech solutions. The fintech space has also been growing very fast. So here you have like learning solutions, saving solutions, but there's also a bit of progress in the agro-tech space. And I would say we haven't seen much around blockchain yet. And maybe this could be due to issues around regulations. But yeah, we are yet to see much around blockchain.
All right, all right. So thank you very much, Tabea, for that contribution. And earlier on, I invited the audience to comment and contribute, to ask questions, if any. I haven't seen anyone requesting to speak. And if there isn't anyone until now, and we are about to come to the end of our session, which normally ends at 8 p.m., I would like to take this opportunity to thank every and a single speaker today for sparing your time to share knowledge with us. Thank you very much, Vicencia. Thank you, Tabea. Thank you, Ramadan. And Jumanne is not here, but we will pass on the appreciation. Now I will invite Harry to actually close the session. Karibu, Harry.
Thank you. Maybe if the remaining speakers here could say maybe one thing in honor of the Intellectual Property Day, Beth, and then we can share the upcoming sessions now that we are back on after this, maybe 1 minute for each.
Yes, please. I forgot this one. Yo, asante kwa kunikumbusha Heri. Please, our speakers. I understand right now we just have Vicencia and Tabea. So namkaribisha Vicencia useme neno mawili matatu ya mwisho, as well as Tabea, before we close.
Asante sana for this opportunity. I think for Brella, this is the platform to engage with our customers, but also with the partners in the IP ecosystem. So thank you so much for organizing this. But also, I want to put a call to the innovators out there. Linda ubunifu wako, yeah? Protect. And if you don't know how to protect, our doors, our platforms are open, and come we talk, we support each other. And about the IP Day, I want to say the message, that's just a few lines of the message from the WIPO director, his part of his message for the celebration of the IP Day. And he says, on this World IP Day, let us come together as a global community and use the power of intellectual property to achieve the Sustainable Development Goals to build a better future for all of us. I think it's so powerful, and we really need to come together, to work together. And I understand that a lot of people in the IP ecosystem now, as part of the audience, but also some of them, the speakers. And I believe going forward, we're going to see more collaborations in the bid to support our innovators. So yeah, that's it. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much, Vicencia, for that note. And yes, we should keep on staying together for better future. Tabea?
Thank you, Betha. Once again, thank you so much for this opportunity to participate in this dialogue. Personally, I found it very productive and insightful. And I think we need to keep this conversation going. And from the development perspective, I would just like to encourage social tech innovators, particularly those with limited resources, to not necessarily rely on reinventing the wheel. As we've heard throughout this conversation, it doesn't have to be like you can build on what already exists. You can learn from those who are already ahead of the game, and you can also like make use of the existing open source platforms. For example, there's Digital Public Alliance, which allows for people to work on the innovations or digital solutions that are addressing issues around sustainable development. So this is a great opportunity for people with limited resources to keep the ball rolling as far as accelerating the SDGs is concerned. But also I like what Vicencia said earlier, that sustainable development entails that we should all move together. Like no one should be left behind. So I hope that we will keep on working towards putting proper mechanisms to highlight those off-books innovations that nobody knows about, so that these innovators are also able to come to the spotlight and show what is it that they can do to accelerate the SDGs. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much, Tabea, for that. Asante sana. And we at Laws of Tanzania, Laws 101, we hear you on the context of like to move forward or to contribute towards seeing the ecosystem perform more. We should keep this conversation going. So we intend to keep this conversation going, and we intend to host another session next week as usual. Same time, same space, which will be around the same area of innovation and creativity, the Zanzibar, Tanzania mainland and Zanzibar. So yes, we look forward to seeing you next week. Thank you very much for your valued contribution. And yes, mi naomba niishie hapa unless Harry, not unless naukaribisha Harry for final words and then you close.
Thank you, Betha, for wonderful moderation, and also thanks to all the speakers and the audience that attended this session. As most of those who follow us, you would take note that this is our first session this year. We are back. Been struggling with our platform with regards to participation in Clubhouse, and now we will be using X Spaces. So karibuni sana. Like Betha said, the next session is alongside the same area in terms of IP, but afterwards we will have a session with regards to AFCFTA, Digital Trade Protocol, with regards to how we can do business across the continent and through the auspices of ACFTA digital protocol. And afterwards, we will go towards data protection and privacy, especially after the PDPC has come into force. This is the tume ya udhibiti wa masuala ya taarifa binafsi. Karibuni sana again. Thank you for a wonderful session and looking forward to have you again on our future events. The recording will also be available in our digital spaces, including Twitter. Thank you. Asante sana, Betha.
Asante sana Harry. Thank you very much, audience in the team of Laws of Tanzania for ensuring we managed to have this session today, na nawatakieni usiku mwema.
Usiku mwema.